day to be here at Earth Day. I love Earth. I am such a dedicated environmentalist, so I'm just really, really happy to be a part of this celebration with you. And the music is incredible. It's just so fun. Schoolhouse of Wonder, are you Wayne?
No, I'm Avery.
Avery, did you do Schoolhouse of Wonder many years ago?
Sure
Yeah.
did.
You taught my children how to hold snakes. and dip
Wayne was a
candles
snake guy.
in the River, Creek. Yeah. Thank you. And that was a huge piece of their life. My older daughter, Monica, did her first vision quest with Schoolhouse of Wonder, and she is such a grounded young lady. I think it has a lot to do with how she spent her summers with you all. So, I raised my children in Durham, so Durham is home has been for many years, and that's why I'm so attracted to relocating in Greensboro. My daughters still live in Durham. So. You know, I just want to share with you, if you bring home one message today, it's this message. There is no limitation. Can you say that with me? There is no limitation. Now that's easy to say, but it's not so easy to get into our brains. It's really not. We grew up with a lot of messages that said there is limitation. I am a student of Abraham Hicks, and just yesterday's message that came through my email was this one. Your conclusion that there isn't enough of something, whether it's not enough land, or not enough resources, or not enough money, or not enough clarity, stems from you learning, without meaning to, a vibration that holds you apart from what you want. There is no limitation. Say that with me again.
There is no limitation.
It goes on to say, if you identify a desire for it, Source recognizes your desire and immediately begins to deliver it to you. And it will manifest in a variety, in a fullness, and in a way that you and you only can learn to allow it. So our job is to allow it. And the only way we can allow it is to keep reminding ourselves there is no limitation. There is no limitation. Eric Butterworth in Spiritual Economics talks about, gives a story that can help us remember this, a story from the ancient Hebrew myths that says there's this woman who is a widow. Her husband died a while back, and she has 2 sons, and she's having a hard time feeding them, clothing them, and taking care of them. And she is worried. And she doesn't know how she's going to make it. And she finds out that a spiritual leader is coming into town. His name is Elisha. And she goes to him, and she says, Elisha, help me. I don't know what to do. I don't have enough to take care of my sons. And if I can't take care of my sons, and if I can't also pay my bills, the collectors will come, and they'll take my sons and sell them as slaves, and I will be without my sons. You know how it's funny how when you know that something's amiss in your life, you spiral down into the worst case scenario. They're going to take my sons and sell them for slavery. You know, that's like the worst thing that could happen to this Hebrew widow who needs her sons even to have any existence in the eyes of the village. And so she thinks worst case scenario and goes running to the spiritual leader and says, what am I going to do? Help me. And he says, what do you have in your house? And she says, I only have 1 jar of oil. So Elisha says, do you have other jars? And she said, no, I only have this 1 jar. So he says, go to your neighbors and collect some empty vessels and bring them into your house and close the door. And once you've closed the door, pour your oil into an empty vessel. And she did. And she poured into the first empty vessel. And when it was full, she poured into the next empty vessel. And when it was full, she poured into the next one. She had enough oil to fill every single empty jar that she had collected. And when she had filled the last jar, she had to stop because there were no more jars to fill. That's a story about consciousness. As every story in these old Hebrew and of so many other mythologies, it's a parallel to our own story. So this woman is, you and me, our typical conscious thinking. We think we don't have enough, they're going to take my sons away, the worst is going to happen. We get wound up into worry, worry, worry. And of course, one of Jesus' truths is, do not be anxious. Do not worry. And that's exactly what we get caught up into. This Elisha character is like a Jesus character. Eli is a word for El, for God. Sha is for Savior. It's this God essence that comes to the human consciousness and is part of and speaks to. And he calls her to a higher thought. There is no limitation. He says, collect all the vessels. That's like, what parts of your consciousness are empty? Pull them in to get recharged. And when you do, take it into the silence. Take it into your quiet time. Close the door. Close the door and close out all the worry about the collectors and the kids and the bills. Close the door. And let the energy flow. The oil stands for unlimited abundance. Let it flow. And it flows into every empty space in your consciousness that you've gathered in, that you've become aware of. There is no limitation. Remember that. Say that again with me.
There is no limitation.
Elisha knew that. And he knew that so well that he had total confidence that this could happen. It can happen. There is no limitation. When you put your focus on something, it is possible. I look at this organization that I've studied, your little packet that you put out to the candidates, and I see that you have goals, you have dreams. You have a dream of, in 3 to 5 years, to find a bigger space to gather in. You could be like that widow, and you could say, oh, we don't have enough. There's not enough. Spiritual economics, Eric Butterworth says, this is the disease of onlyness. We only have this much money. We only have this many people coming on Sunday. We only have this much in reserves. Or you can say that personally. I only make this much money. I only have enough to pay these bills. I only can barely make it. I'll never get up to that vacation I've been dreaming about. Only, only, only. The disease of onlyness limits you constantly. And we say there is this ultimate power of good in the universe, and we say that it is unlimited. We know from our scientific knowledge now that the universe is eternal. It never stops. There is no limit. There's no limit. And there is no limit to our imagination. And when we pull ourselves together as a group like this powerful group of spiritual seekers and finders, when you pull that together and stop saying we only, fill in the blank, and start saying there's no limitation, who knows what could happen with this organization? It's important for us to carefully look at our thinking, even our little tiny thoughts, and see if we are boxing ourselves in by our early life conditioning, as the Abraham message was earlier. Let me read that again. Your conclusion that there isn't enough of something, whether it's not enough land or resources or money or clarity, stems from you learning, without meaning to, a vibration that holds you apart from what you want. You've learned a vibration that holds you apart from what you want. If you identify your desire for its source, recognizes your desire and immediately delivers it to you. So what's keeping us from receiving it? It will manifest in the variety, in the fullness, and in the way that you and you only can allow it. So allow your good. Allow the oil to flow and flow and flow. Allow it to flow. There is no limitation. We can learn from this story the importance of denying the power of our limiting thoughts and allowing ourselves to think outside of that limit. We often think, my paycheck is what I have to live on. Is your job and your paycheck your source? No. It's hard for us to remember that because we start thinking, or if you're self-employed, your clients are your source. No, God is your source. And God is this energy that just permeates everything. So let it, and let it permeate your consciousness and your ability to say, yes, there are no limitations, and I can see and manifest what I want. We, you, as an organization, can manifest anything you set your desires upon. You have set together, you have birthed an idea of a different way to structure church. Don't let anybody else who says that's never been done before stop you from manifesting a successful organization. It doesn't matter that it's never done before. Every idea has got to start somewhere. And this is a fabulous idea that you've birthed for everyone involved. It's an organization that is really owned by the people. And that's healthy. And that's progressive. And that's toward what we yearn for, is that global unity where everyone has a say. So stay with that and say, no, no one can limit us. We can make this a success and become a vision for others to follow. Nothing can limit you unless you let it. Your conditioned thinking. So I want to look at two quotes with you and affirmations that I want to share with you. I have these printed for you when you leave today. You'll have a strip of paper you can take with you. The first one comes from Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity. And I'll read the quote and then ask you to read the affirmation down below. And I made these affirmations in plural for you to establish yourselves as a group of people moving toward your visions. Charles writes in Prosperity, we cannot ask God for more substance, for the universe is full of it. We can and should ask for an increase in our capacity. Yes. Say this affirmation with me. We are ready to receive all the good of the universe. Let's say that again. We are ready to receive all the good of the universe. That can be for you as a person. That can be for your family. That can be for your church. That can be for Greensboro in this country, in this world. We're ready to receive it all. Drop the blocks, drop the limitations, think outside of your box, and allow yourself to receive it. The next quote is from Eric Butterworth. Wherever you may be, you are an unborn possibility of limitless life, limitless intelligence, limitless substance, and yours is the privilege and the responsibility of giving birth to it. I want to say that again. I want you to listen, and as I say those words, I'll receive them for yourself, okay? To say that these are you. This is you. Wherever you may be, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, wherever you are in your emotional and social maturity, wherever you are an unborn possibility of limitless life, limitless intelligence, limitless substance. And yours is the privilege and the responsibility of giving birth to it. Say the affirmation with me right now. Right
Here, right now, our potential is unlimited.
You'll have a chance to take these home with you. Say them to yourself. Say them to your partner. Say this quote from Eric to your daughter or son, or your sister or brother, or your co-worker. Wow. How powerful that blessing is to the person you say it to. And ask them to just receive it and stop arguing with it. That little brain arguing, no, I'm not unlimited. I have all this, I have a learning disability. No, you are. It's exactly what Pat read in the Daily Word. That wellspring, that radiance, let it come out. It's stifled in here by your limited thinking. Let it come out and be the unlimited, the limitless intelligence that you are. All right? Let's take this into a meditation for a moment. Just drop into your heart. Breathe. Relax. Remember this phrase, there is no limitation. And know that it is true for you, not just for the spiritual leaders of this community who seem to glow with the radiance of God's love. You have that God love right within you as well. Let it come out. Yours is the privilege and the responsibility of birthing that awareness of limitlessness. Allow yourself to be all that you can be. Give your mind permission to be quiet and let your heart glow with all that you really, truly are. There is no limitation. There is no limitation.